Aloha ukulele friends, this is Neil Chin here, and welcome back to another lesson here at Four Strings at a Time. Really excited for this upcoming month's Ukulele Club of Hawaii. Really excited to have Keolu back for our 1 year anniversary. And to celebrate our 1 year anniversary for our lesson today, what I figured we would do is we take a look at a really wonderful sounding chord that you can use a lot to decorate a lot of the, well, hopefully a lot of the songs that you're already playing. Okay. And I'm just joking because I'm sure that you've heard this sound before. Okay. At least maybe floating in the back of your head. Okay. It's this sound. Or maybe this one. Okay. This is the lovely sound of the suspended chord. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about just the theory of why these chords work, or how these chords work, I should say, and then just a couple of different fingerings for the key of C and then also the key of G. That way, as we go through lots of our different songs that use the 1 chord and the 5 chord of these 2 different keys, we can kind of add this extra one note, or kind of, well, as we'll talk about it, kind of wiggle around it to add a little bit of extra tension and color. Okay, so a suspended chord, okay, in effect. What a suspended chord is, okay, and we'll say again, specifically here we're using it for our 1 and our 5, which maybe we should take a moment actually to say our 1 in the key of C, as we'll navigate C first, is C major, okay, and if you're going to go over to our 5 chord, that's going to be C, D, E, F, G. Okay, in our case, here, we're going to use G7 or G dominant 7, like this. Okay. Now, the idea here is that with either one of these chords, what we can do is we can take, just the theory part first, okay? We can take the third of the chord and move it up to a 4. Okay, to create this kind of, extra, it's the same sound, but with a little bit of extra tension. And it's a great way for us to create extra bits of movement, especially when we're hanging out on 1 chord or spending a lot of time, which we often will on the 1 or the 5 chord. Whoops, you can count. Okay, so in our case here, let's take a closer look. Okay, now, if we're talking in regards to C, okay, 1, C, D, E is the third, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the third and move it up to the 4, which would be C, D, E, F. Okay? Or, in our fingering here, if you hold your C major chord, you have your open E string. So all we're going to do to make this a C suspended 4 is going to add your index finger down to F, right on that first fret, or moving that note. That's another way to think about it. When we think about harmony and talk about harmony, it's great to talk about motion. It's such a fun aspect of harmony, the different motion it creates. Okay? So, if we're strumming on C, like this, you can kind of pepper in a little bit of that C suspended 4, and then we'll take it away. Okay? Just as one way to use this chord. Okay? We'll just pepper it in, and we'll go back out. In essence, it makes the chord a little ambiguous, okay, by taking away that third note, okay, and kind of just adds a little bit of extra motion, okay. So we can also again do this with our 5 chord, okay. So let's take a look, right? If we're playing our 5, that's going to be C, D, E, F, G, again G, or in our case G7, like this. And what we would be doing here is G, A, B. We're taking that B note and moving it up to C. G, A, B, C, right? Which is located right underneath, in our case, the A string. With our ring finger, what we can do is just bring up our pinky like this, or you can slide up, whatever is comfortable for your hand. Okay, we can make this a G7. It's kind of a lengthy name, actually. A G7 suspended 4. Or you might even just see this as a G7 sus, S-U-S. Again, right? If we're strumming, you can pepper it and release. Okay, a lot of G7. We can go G7, G7 suspended, and release back to G7. Not to mention excellent noodling fuel for later on. Now, what I figured we'd also do is real quickly look at the same idea in the key of G, because it works really nicely on the ukulele too, just fingering wise, especially when we navigate that rootless D7 chord. So without further ado, let's just take a quick peek. Now, we're playing in the key of G. We have to kind of reframe things, spin the wheels, so to say. Okay, so G is now 1, right? And if we're gonna make a G suspended 4, okay, or a G sus 4, okay, we would go G, A, B, C. You would take that B note and move it up to C. Hey, kind of sounds familiar, like that other one. But in our case here, we're gonna be holding our regular G like this. There's that same B note. It's just tucked away. In this case, I'm gonna move my finger so you can see under the middle finger here. Okay, so I think if we're holding our fingering like this, it's really easy just to bring down your pinky, which I'm sure you've heard this sound before. Okay, especially for a lot of folks that like guitar music, right? You've heard probably. Kind of suspended sound. Okay, and in our case here, G suspended 4, and G. It might sound like a particular song you've heard before. Nudge nudge, wink wink. Yeah. Okay. Now, equally as fun, we're gonna go to our 5 chord in the key of G. G, A, B, C, D. It's gonna be our D, and as we were exploring, a 7 chord. D7. Okay, which actually I'm gonna hold like this. Okay, I'm just doing our little 2-finger D7 like this, and same idea. Let's make a D7 suspended 4. Okay, in this case over here, D, E, F sharp is our 3rd, which is actually on our 2nd string. In this case, I'm holding it down with my ring finger. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this F sharp note and we're gonna bring it up to G. Okay, D, E, F sharp, and then G. Which is really nice and kind of easy fingering here, convenient. In this case, I'm going to use the pinky again. Kind of floated, ephemeral, uncertain sound, and a very definite D7. Okay, so D7 suspended 4, and D7. Okay, real quickly, some of you might be asking, Neil, well, what about D7 like this? Hey. That's why we learned the principles, right? Because you can apply the principles to any shape, okay? Or any type of dominant chord like this. So same thing, right? Here's F sharp and G. We can go. Okay, if you want to do that too. Okay, similar idea. Oh, sorry. Let me change my fingering. Okay, the more ways you can hold a chord, right? The more power to you. But again, we're vamping on D7, key and G, right? Yeah, and do suspended and release, suspended and release. Okay, so as just one last final example here, let's say we're just kind of noodling around in G, or we're playing a song in the key of G that has both that G, the 1, and the 5 D7. Okay, we can play something to the effect of this sound, right? So G. Okay, here comes the 5. So here, D7. And the world is your oyster. Have some fun with it, especially at club. You're playing a lot of these songs that have a lot of maybe 1 chord, or a back and forth between G and D. Just add a little bit of extra motion, and trust your intuition. Yeah, your fingers will, or your intuition will lead your fingers to the right place. Okay. Also did sneak in a little suspended 2 in there too in that one. If that makes sense to you, that's great. If not, we'll have to say it for another time. Or if not, you can take a look at it. Yeah. All right. On that note, thanks again for joining us. I hope you had fun with these suspended chords or suspended four chords. Have fun adding them into your movements here on your one and your one and five chord. It's a lot of numbers. And please, any key that you'd like to do too. Have fun with it, folks. And until next time, aloha.